Hey everybody, welcome to Analog Stick Radio, episode 24. I am your host Mitch, and as always, I am joined by my two favorite people in the entire world, and we actually have one extra special guest on the show with us. So over to my right, I have my best friend in the entire planet, Christopher. How are we doing today?
I am doing fine, thank you.
Fantastic. Right underneath me, as always, I have Dakota.
Ew.
Hi. How are you?
And then our special guest for today is our resident fighting game expert, the man, the myth, the legend, the Brazilian hot fire, Lewis. How are we doing today, Lewis?
Good, how are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic. Let's talk about what we have done this week. I'm going to jump in and say that I took a recommendation from Chris and Dakota, and I fucking bought Crypto the Necrodancer, and that is the greatest game I've ever played in my entire life. That game is so fucking good. It's disgusting how good that game is.
We knew you'd like it. It's just too perfect for you.
That has got Mitch written all over it. It's on the box. It's on the CD. It's in the disclaimer. It just says Mitch everywhere. It's so amazing. The soundtrack is incredible. I didn't realize how deep, how each minion has its own pattern that you have to follow. Like, I heard you guys say that, and I was like, oh, okay, so there's probably... No, like, each minion has its own specific pattern, and you have to know them all in your head as you're playing, otherwise, as I did a lot, you're gonna die.
Right. You basically have to dance with the enemies, and you have to learn their dance moves in order to beat them.
You have to. That is the best definition of this game I've ever heard. You have to.
Oh, so it's not actually like minions dancing and you have to mimic it.
No, I mean they are dancing. Like, I love the skeleton. The skeleton that's just like.
Throws his hands up in the air, boogies around. Yeah.
And he just throws his hands up in the air, and then he hits you. I was like, that's fucking ingenious. And then the big rock guy that does it every fourth move. So he shimmies his shoulders. He's like 1, 2, 3, hit. 1, 2, 3, hit. I was like, oh my god, that's so good.
And something we didn't mention is when you go into like fever mode, when you got like your groove going, disco lights appear inside the dungeon.
Oh my god, the disco lights showing up. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is the best game ever. So I definitely played a lot of Crypto the Necrodancer. As soon as I jumped on, Dakota was like, oh, so I see you're playing this game finally. And I was like, this is the best game I've ever played. So it was a lot of fun.
You said it many times.
I said it. I just kept like alt tabbing and was like, oh my god.
It's so good.
Yeah, Chris, what did you play this week?
This week I'm so swamped with schoolwork. As you can see, I got my professional attire on. It's a polo for those listening in.
Super fancy.
It's very, very fancy. This is my going out clothes. So I've just stuck to my basics. I played some Heroes of the Storm, but I got back to rank 1 finally.
Hey,
I went on a big losing streak a while ago and got down to rank 7, and then now I clawed my way back up and I hit rank 1 again this week. So
hey, we're all proud of you. I'm sure
we can assume that they go high to low.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Weakest to peakest, obviously.
Yeah. Weakest to peakest.
Peakest to weakest, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, because highest to lowest would be peakest to weakest.
Right. Okay. One of the two.
Dakota, what did you play this week, Dakota?
Well, like you, I took a recommendation from our indie game episode last week, and I downloaded and played Papers, Please.
Oh, did you?
Yes!
Yeah. You guys said it, but I could not believe how deep that stupid game is.
So deep. It's
the gameplay is so simple. Just filing paperwork.
Yeah.
But the implications that it has on the in-game world, it's like, wow, it's so thought out. And I got to an ending, and that's when it told me that there's 20 endings that you can get to based on what you do. So, as the game is designed, it makes me want to go back and change different decisions I made. My girlfriend's a banker. She's a bank manager. My fiance, excuse me. And she was watching me play. She goes, that looks like what I do all day.
I worked as an accountant for a little while. My girlfriend and I both did. We're like, we do this for our work. Yeah. But this is still
but
great.
It makes it fun. Yeah, it's great. It's great. The music.
Awesome.
The music. Yeah, it's
so heavy. It's like
very
feel like you're
That game-
slogged
that
to
game's a lot
work
of fun.
every day.
If you like really weird, like deep indie games, definitely check out Papers, Please. It's gonna be right up your alley for sure. Lewis, Talk to me, baby girl. Have you been playing nothing but Street Fighter V?
You think that, but the Street Fighter V servers are garbage, and
Oh no,
Oh, yeah.
they
I've
made
heard
them
about
out
that.
of garbage.
so they've been down and up. So when they're up, I'm playing online with I'm lobbying with some people, meeting up when I can. When they're down, I actually talked to Grant, and he told me that what was it, Firewatch was a great game to pick up.
Oh, we definitely talked about that last week.
Tell me
I've
about it.
never been more disappointed in $20 in my life.
No, God, this is why I don't own this game
Wow.
yet.
I'll
Son
tell
of
you
a
right now.
bitch.
I was told it was going to be peaceful. I was going to enjoy nature. I was like, yeah, I need it because I'm getting angry as hell online on Street Fighter. So I need something to cool me down. I get on there. The story started off pretty good, got very cringy, and then I became like the gameplay turned me into the most anxious human being. Like a squirrel would run by and I'd freak out, and then
It's got
just-
good immersion, right? Because without saying anything, you really start to feel what the character feels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. That was great, but it just let me down at the end.
That's
Like,
Yeah,
overall.
that's exactly what Dakota
That's
said.
how I
I don't
felt.
want to do that. I don't want
I
to be
really
a part of that.
enjoyed the game. And you know what? I thought about it, Mitch, and reading online. Not everybody feels that way. A lot of people really enjoyed the ending.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really enjoyed the game. I think it was a solid game. I just didn't like the ending. Lewis didn't like the ending. But there are a ton of people who did. I still
Yeah,
say
but-
it's worth your 20 bones. You should try it.
You two are like people that I respect opinions of, and I just
All right.
don't know.
It's worth. I'll say this: it's worth the money if you don't go in expecting the most peaceful game you've ever played. Because
See, I'm already gonna go in expecting
you
the
get
most peaceful
so
game I've ever
deep
played,
and
so-
ingrained in this that you get so anxious and terrified of everything.
Sounds, yeah. I would say that sounds intriguing, wouldn't you, Mitch?
It sounds intriguing, and it sounds like you're working for the Firewatch development team. Because I really want to buy this game, but I can't see it as a day one buy. I can't
No.
see it.
It's a good thing
can't
it's
see
day
it being mobile.
17.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
Sounds like we all
Perfect.
had a lot of fun this week. So let's move on to the main topic because we got a lot of things to talk about. All right, Dakota, why don't you usher us in?
Sure, yeah. In honor of the Street Fighter V kind of release, we are going to do an episode on fighting games. And because the three of us aren't the most well-established fighting game fans or players, we brought Lewis on. So why don't we start off with talking about each of our fighting game backgrounds? Go ahead, Mitch. What do you got?
I didn't play a lot of fighting games growing up. I mean, I played Mortal Kombat, obviously. Like, we all played Mortal Kombat.
Sure.
We all played Mortal Kombat. I remember playing a lot of a couple other like, random games that maybe a few people have heard of, but like Primal Rage and shit like that. You know, like
Oh,
dumb,
man.
stupid
Oh,
arcade
yeah.
games, right?
Sure.
Like, not really getting super deep into fighting games. And so I never was really into those. I got hooked more on like Tony Hawk back in the day, or like, you know, Rayman and other dumb, stupid games. So my fighting game career really begins around like Super Smash Bros. Melee, back when I first met Chris, and they all played Super Smash Bros. Melee on the GameCube. And that was kind of like my first foray into fighting games. I hated that game because I didn't know how to wave dash, and everybody else did. So obviously, if you don't know how to wave dash in Melee, you just play Peach. So that's all I did was play Peach. And it was a lot of fun. We played a shitload of that game. It infuriated me more than anything I can think of. And then I,
Maybe the
slowly
new
delved
one.
into it. What?
The new one might infuriate you more.
Oh,
it
the new one
seems,
infuriates me
as-
like crazy. So that kind of really hooked me on the bug, though. I've kept up with the Smash games. Brawl was obviously completely awful. And I most recently have been playing a lot of Smash 4 with Chris. But I picked up this game called Rivals of Aether that actually was a lot of fun. It's still like an alpha or beta or something like that.
Yeah, it's in the Steam Greenlight or whatever.
Yeah, it's extremely early access, but it's actually it's a very intricate and detailed game for how simple it is. So that's pretty much my extent of fighting games. I was taught by Ryan Hunter, very famous fighting game personality, how to do a couple things in Guilty Gear, and he was really trying to get me hooked on it, but I can't play with a fight stick, man. I don't know what I'm doing with that. So
Right on,
it
right
was ultimately futile. But what about you, Dakota? What is your fighting game experience?
Man, way back in the day, I had Street Fighter 2 on my SNES. I played it quite a bit by myself in my bedroom, which is weird because, like, looking back, that's something that wouldn't interest me now, playing a fighting game single player. And then I have vague recollections of like being 12 or 13 and going to sports camp, and we would take field trips to the bowling alley, and all the kids would just fuck the lanes and go crush on like Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
And they were good. Or at least my recollection as a boy, I'm like, I can't fucking, I would walk up and just get trashed and then like walk back to the end of the line. So I have a little bit of like the legit quarter experience with fighters, but it wasn't really until, I played Smash as well in high school and throughout college, but it wasn't until I graduated college that I really tried to start playing fighting games when I picked up Street Fighter 4 and went balls deep on it. And so since then, I've been a huge fighting game fan. I really appreciate the genre, even though I'm not great at it. But I like to try to be a good player. Like I don't just get in there and jump in and do dragon punches. I actually try to learn stuff and do stuff. And so with 5, I'm stoked, man. I'm doing my best. We had a 10-man tournament for the company, and I came in 3rd. So I was all right with that.
Nice.
So that's me.
Congrats.
What about you, Chris?
Congrats, Dakota.
I played a lot of fighting games like you, Dakota, when I was a kid. Like, I had Super Street Fighter 2 on my Super Nintendo, and like you, I just played it by myself all the time, like in my room, just mashing away as Vega for some reason, like, you know, hitting with the long spiky hands, thought it was super cool. I grew up mostly with Mortal Kombat games, though. Like, I had the first one, and the second one, and the third one, and I had the books.
Wow.
The Brady guide books for all 3.
Sure.
I probably have it over here.
It's
actually,
got it right here.
Actually, I do. It's right there. But it's ragged, man. Like, my friends and I loved it on the Super Nintendo. Like, I played the crap out of Mortal Kombat 3 all the time. I got pretty good at it, but never like a level that I guess would be competitive. I never really had that arcade experience. Like, there's a place we call that's Boomers over here. And it's like a big, oh yeah, I see.
Yeah.
It's a big arcade over here. And I'd go there sometimes and I'd try and go into the arcade scenes, but like, I wouldn't know how to make use the fight sticks like you said, Mitch. Like I just couldn't do it.
Man. I don't know.
And I didn't have any, like a lot of time to go. Like I'd go there maybe once every couple months or something. So it wasn't like I'd be with the regulars. But then I grew up, I grew up and I went to Smash Brothers. And, I was really good at Melee, like back in the day. Now I'm awful, but I was one of the people who was originally desyncing Ice Climbers when people were figuring it out.
Nice.
Without looking it up, like didn't like know about it, just figured out how to desync it because he fucking played Ice Climbers so much. Blew my mind. When I actually like started playing competitively, I was like, oh wait, this is actually a thing? Like people know how to do this? One of my best friends just fucking figured out how to do this because he's that good at this game.
I just really liked Ice Climbers and Melee, and I got really good. I won a bunch of tournaments at my college with it, and I got some like free food at the food place. But I never went to like any actual tournaments. Like I'm kind of sad looking back on it but I didn't really know any places. But I was really actually pretty good at Melee, and also Soul Calibur 2.
Oh, cool. Yes!
Cool.
I forgot about that, Chris.
that game I got really good with Ivy. And I was really good.
Why did you pick Ivy? I wonder.
I like the sword whip. No, not that reason. He's holding himself very. It's not allowed on the podcast. I'll just say that.
Yeah,
not going to say it. You use viewers at home.
What are you talking about? That's more than welcome. That's more than welcome on the podcast.
So, like, my main thing, I got in a couple of the later Mortal Kombats, like Mortal Kombat, I don't know, 8 or 9, and it was fun, but, like, I slowly got out of fighting games. Like, I stuck with Smash for a little while, and I liked Smash 4. I'm not as good as I used to. I don't put a lot of time into it. But, that was my fighting games. A lot of Mortal Kombat, and then a smattering of Soul Calibur. Oh, and Primal Rage, I had that. I had a lot of fighters when I was a kid. Yeah. I had Primal Rage on my Super Nintendo. I had all the Mortal Kombats. I had Killer Instinct.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that black cartridge. Everyone knows that black cartridge.
Yeah. Yep. Any game with a different colored cartridge automatically like earned
Automatically
prestige in the
buy it.
eyes of our
Yeah.
12-year-old
You gotta
eyes.
buy
Like,
it.
ooh,
That's
I
a
need
different
that.
color.
Yeah. So what about you, Lewis? What's your history
Yeah,
with
our
the
resident
the fight
fighting
night?
game expert here. Yeah. what
So-
do we?
The first one I played was Street Fighter 2 Turbo on SNES.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Same.
unlike what seems to be the trend here, I always had someone to play with.
Mm.
Oh yeah, we didn't
yeah.
have friends, so.
Yeah, weird. But yeah, me and my friends, we always we would play sports, but like the way we would settle things would be playing fighting games. So it would
That's
we
awesome.
we would Street Fighter 2, we played that. Mortal Kombat Trilogy, we moved on to that. And then Boomers, actually, we started going there regularly. They had third strike machines, and we got really big into Tekken there. You
really played them all then.
Yeah, well, that's my thing with them. If like I don't even have to enjoy the game. If I have my friends there, I'll play anything. I just recently got into anime fighters because on Fridays everyone at Versus plays anime fighters. So I found a waifu and I'm trying to learn it just because I love the interaction sitting next to someone. Even if I lose, I'm gonna shit talk you so much that it's
Oh my
gonna feel like
God.
you lost.
I like
Oh
the
my
loser
God, you
shit
have-
talk. That's my favorite type of shit talk.
If
Yeah.
you have never played against Lewis, you are missing out. It is primo shit talk. You could be crushing him into the ground, and
We're
it's
gonna have
still
to-
the best shit talk you've ever heard.
We'll remedy that in about an hour, right?
Mitch played me in a good old Shaq Fu.
Oh,
It is-
God.
that is
Oh,
like-
God.
Shaq Fu.
And both of us had no idea what was going on, but we were talking like we were world champion Shaq Fu fighters.
Oh God! I
Nice.
was talking
Anybody
like I
who
developed
plays-
Shaq Fu in my basement, and I just showed him this game.
Excellent. So that's us. That's how we've experienced fighters throughout our lives. So now we're gonna talk about them. I thought about doing some sort of like history of fighting games, but I didn't want to have a boring history lesson. So suffice it to say, we're gonna assume that you know something about fighters. You know what a fighter is, and we're just gonna spitball. So
Sounds good.
yeah, something that came to mind. We want to talk about like what makes fighters special, and it's funny. The gaming community as a whole is kind of moving into this eSports centric mentality. Twitch is huge. ESPN is talking about video games now. This past couple weeks, MLG has been acquired, and it's bigger than ever. And fighting games have always been here. They've always been around. They're like the oldest esport, but they never called themselves an esport. They were just the fighting game community. We'll start with Lewis because I want to get your in-depth inside knowledge. What do you think makes fighters different than all the other esports and competitive fighting games?
So, to me, what makes them very different is, like when I watch League of Legends or the Dota Invitational, I couldn't just show up and play.
Right.
That's reserved for Cloud9. That's reserved for all those other guys. But I could go to Evo. I can pay my registration fee, and I can sit down next to Kazunoko and play him. Like there's that open format that just welcomes everyone, and it's very different. And it's to me, it's just I feel it's more accessible because every city, even if your scene is small, like in the other coast of Florida, if you're not in Tampa, there's really no scene, but within the range of driving, you can find a tournament, you can go meet new people, and you can play in all these open formats, and it just brings more people into it versus making it more of a spectator esport.
Sure. Chris, you have any thoughts?
What makes it special? That's definitely a fact why it's so big, especially in the esports arena, right? Like anybody can just show up. That's why I don't remember exactly, and I don't really know any names, but I knew in like the Smash cycles, the older Smash guys, somebody just showed up at one of the tournament and just started beating like all the old dogs, right?
Yeah.
All the top people out of nowhere, and everybody's just like, what? And some guy got really huge for a little while because he just showed up and was able to do it. That's amazing. I also really enjoy how you're right next to the person.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you have the keyboard and the computer and you're in another booth like in StarCraft. If you ever see a StarCraft esport, they're not looking at each other. They could put them on totally different sides and like it's kind of like faced off but separate.
Yes.
But in a fighting game, there's actual like you see your guy right there and you feel him getting upset if you're beating him.
Totally.
Or you feel him like you feel him like
just feel the
getting
salt.
cocky.
You
Yeah.
feel
Or
the
like
salt.
you know when he's getting cocky.
You
when
can
you're
hear his fingers on his fight stick, and he might be slapping him louder if he's pissed.
uh-huh.
You know, if he's
Exactly.
mashing out of something, he's getting like nervous and trying to pull bad moves. You can literally hear it.
Exactly. You just feel it. That's what I think is special about the fight. And I think that's good for especially esports in general, because people can see that on the stage in front of them. It's not like League of Legends where all the guys are lined up on their team. They're talking to their team, you know. That's important, teamwork, and you see the guys like leaning over and like high-fiving, but you don't see their enemies like right next to them. And that's something
Right.
specifically fighter generated.
It's almost like, and then after this I'll pass it to Mitch, but it's almost like because of that fact that fighting game community members are used to being right next to their opponents, they're like, this might be offensive to some gamers, but they're like they're more well socially adjusted. You know, they're not like sitting in front of their fucking screen. They actually know how to interact with human beings because they have to, due to the nature of the competition.
They have to know that if they're losing, they got to be a good loser, because this guy's gonna take.
Yeah,
You don't
most
have
of
to
the
be.
time.
You do not have to be a good loser at all.
You don't have to.
You can be the
You don't
worst
have to
fucking
be, but you have
loser.
to know.
There's a video of a very high-profile professional fighter out of New York where he throws his stick on the ground, just shatters it completely after losing.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Mitch, what do you
Sanford
think?
Kelly.
Yeah, Sanford.
It's actually amazing that we all literally had the exact same answer. I was going to say the same thing. One of the things I think that fighting games does is one of the things that I love about playing Magic the Gathering is that you're face to face. That's one of my biggest like joys about playing Magic the Gathering, is that when I'm playing somebody, I am face to face with them. I'm right there next to them. So when I beat them, they have to be like, yeah, you beat me, like right in front of me, and they have to commit to it. Or when they beat me, I have to commit to it. And we're right there face to face, and it makes it like really tense. But it's just amazing interaction, and that's the same thing for fighting games. Is that you're right there next to the person that you're trying to whoop their ass, and you get. But with fighting games, it's different because you get this like almost like showboaty mentality, because you know the guy is right there. So when you win, I see all the time on fighting game streams, just like people get up and do the dumbest shit, or people walk onto stage and do the most outlandish shit. I remember one of my favorite moments in probably fighting game history that like anyone's ever shown me. I don't remember the guy's name, but when he walked onto stage, he had them shut all the lights off, and then he crept onto stage and sat down in the chair and then put his face like right up next to his opponent, and then they turn the lights on and he's just glaring at the side of his opponent's face.
Yep.
And it was the most it was like this all happened within 10 seconds, but it was the most amazing thing I had ever seen.
Yeah, that's very cool. All of this is stuff that I had written down in my notes, and it's all, in my opinion, related to what I want to call arcade cabinet culture. Like everything
Right.
about the fighting game community is predicated on the fact that kids used to have to go line up in front of an arcade cabinet, put quarters in, play each other. So you guys mentioned a few of them. The fact that you got to be a good showman, you got to be used to. You get to sit next to your opponent. You're not behind a computer screen. Lewis mentioned that the tournaments are open. That's a huge one. It's like
That's
that whole
big.
like anybody can come and put their quarter in the machine and just prove themselves on the spot. It's like that mentality is what drives the choice to make Evo open registration. That's fucking sweet. You know, you don't have to.
You're not gonna find that anywhere other than like
No.
maybe Magic the Gathering.
You don't have to be a professional video gamer in order to
Right.
even put your face, get your face in the scene in the first place. That's fucking
Right.
cool. It's like this winner stays on mentality.
Right, it gives you this like grandiose like dream, like I could potentially win Evo. It's like probably not, but yeah, man, dream big, like fuck yeah, like shoot for the stars.
So one of my favorite things about about fighting games, the games themselves, I think more than any other game, especially competitive games, is that fighting games feel like a science. They don't feel like a game in a way that like Dota or League does. You know, what other genre of gaming has like frame precise, like 1/60th of a second frame precise requirements in order to do well? I mean, you got to learn how to time last hits and stuff like that, but there's nothing as precise and as meticulous as fighting games.
And crucial, right? Like if you don't hit that point, like if you don't do like a low kick right at that time, and they're just a second jumping higher, and their body wireframe is out of that one little spot in that one frame, you missed. or
Right.
you got them. Like,
Yeah.
and if you don't know the timing, if you don't have it perfectly down, it makes it that much more intense to watch it when you do know the technical aspect. What about you, Lewis? Like, is that how you feel about it?
As far as the for the inputs,
Yeah.
yeah. With the last generation of fighting games, yeah, they put a heavy emphasis on the finesse of it. You got that one frame opening, and if you miss it, your opponent's gonna punish you, and then he's gonna get his turn to hit you with that one frame opening. But they're actually straying away from that now, which is a good. And some people like it, some people don't. I personally love it. It lowers that barrier of entry for people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Accessibility is something that's changing in fighting games.
Yeah. So before we had Street Fighter 4, and when that first came out, everyone was on the same leg. But as time went on, as new people came in, it started falling into that same trap as Melee, where it was so intricate that you had to put in so much time to just even be moderately competitive.
Yeah.
You had to learn your FADCs, you had to learn your one frame links, you had to learn a 40 plus character roster matchup, and then you go into Melee where you have to wave dash, L cancel, you have your recovery, learning how to edge hog and everything like that.
Yeah.
And so then the next generation comes out. We have Street Fighter 5 where the tightest link is 3 frames, so you have a higher window. There's no more wave dashing in Smash 4.
Right.
But there are
There's no more L
still some
canceling in
games
Smash 4.
there's what's that?
There's no more L canceling in Smash 4 either.
No.
They took
No,
away
they
a lot
got
of the
rid of a lot of
technicalities
tech.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, any listeners, these are all like just technical. A lot of these mechanics began as bugs. At least the Smash Bros. Ones, L canceling, wave dashing, began as bugs and were found by competitive players as ways to exploit the game in order to, in this case, move around the map in a more efficient manner. And so it's like if you didn't learn how to do it, you couldn't keep up and you just get shut out completely.
Yeah, and going back to what like Lewis is saying about accessibility, it like just listening to that, I know at least the Smash side of that, but not the Street Fighter. But if somebody didn't know about fighting games, this would just sound like engineering jargon.
Yeah.
Right? Like wave
It
dashing
really,
and
honestly,
L
really
canceling. Like,
is.
Well, let me
really
give you
is.
let me give you an example of just how technical Street Fighter 4 got as far as like entering the game and being kind of just like medium level competency. So canceling is where you're doing one move and then you input the inputs for another move in order to start doing the next move before the first is finished. That's canceling, okay? So in order to like be moderately competitive at Street Fighter, you have to know how to what's called FADC Ultra. What that means is you would have to do a combo. So that's already chaining frame precise normal attacks together, canceling into a special move, canceling the special move into a special kind of block, canceling the special block with a dash, and then performing an ultra, which is an extra special input. And if you didn't know how to do that, you couldn't play the game. And just saying it out loud is kind of like representative of how absolutely fucking ridiculous it is to expect everybody to know how to do that. So a lot of those mechanics, fucking out for Street
But it
Fighter
also
5.
goes to show you how dedicated these players are. Where even though you put that giant wall in front of them, like this is what you have to jump over just to play with us, and they're like, all right, let me do it. Let me lab it up. Let me learn how to do all these things because I want to be part of this community.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
That's one of the things that I've loved about the fighting game community is that no matter what I'm watching, I know that it's most likely going to be super high tier, like competitive playing. You jump into like a Hearthstone stream, you might watch some dumbass playing some dumbass deck. Even like Magic, you could just watch some dumbass playing some dumbass thing. But when you go in a fighting game, you're like, this guy probably knows how to do all the dumb shit that this fighting game wants you to do, and I'm gonna see some crazy weird shit in this game.
Yeah. I mean, they call people that are extremely good and figure out stuff scientists. They call special tricks that you learn technology. Like the jargon that they use is representative of how precise and difficult and that it all is.
Yeah, it's
really
insane. I've played a lot of different games in my life. I've played a lot of very technical games, but trying to play fighting games is one of the most strenuous things I think I've ever had to do. It was insane how many times I tried to do like a character in Guilty Gear, like tried to just learn the basics of that character, and I was like, I don't know how to do any of this. This is all completely ridiculous, and I feel like I'm doing it exactly right, and it's just all wrong. This is fucking annoying.
Yeah. Lewis, speaking of accessibility, talk to me about Rising Thunder. Kind of explain what they've done for accessibility's sake, and tell me what you think about it.
Okay. So Rising Thunder is, it's, I guess you consider it an indie fighter. Seth Killian, he's
definitely
one of the big names from Capcom. He went over to work on this game. What they've done is all of your special moves are now on one button. So to throw a fireball, you no longer have to turn your joystick or move your D-pad in a quarter circle forward and press punch. All you need to do is press punch. So what they've done is the same thing Dive Kick sort of did. They took away the heavy mechanics and made it more player versus player. So it's not, hey, you put in more time with this. It's, hey, I know what you're going to do before you know what you're going to do, and I'm going to punish you for it. So it's straying into that. Yeah, exactly. They're bringing it back to the basics, to bring it down more from, it's not even, they even took away like character versus character. Sure, there's some bad matchups, but if you can read your opponent, if you have a good defense, if you're just a strong player, you can beat your opponent, which is really good. As far as bringing in new players, it's a good entry-level game to start off with, just to get a feel for like spacing and things like that. And then once you're ready for a game with harder inputs, you could just move on and take what you've learned, because a lot of the things you learn in every fighter you can transfer over.
Yeah. So like they've completely removed the focus on execution and rewarded and focused on mental game completely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
That would be something I'd like I said, I haven't really played a lot of fighters in a while. Like I always am intrigued by fighters. Like I used to love looking at the newer Street Fighters and like seeing the turbos flashing and all like the cool like little bars at the bottom. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I want to like fill it up and use this cool move. But like to learn it, I wouldn't know how to do it at all.
Yeah.
But and I definitely don't have the time right now to do it. So like a game like that where it's almost like Smash, where you have kind of at least all the special moves kind of put to your B button, right? That'd be kind of cool. We have the special moves there, and I like the mind game aspect. That's something like I'm a gamer, so at least I know how to be skilled enough to like play against other people and play a mind game, and I don't have to have the time to put in to learn how to do all the canceling and stuff. So I think that's definitely something really cool.
Because the conceit is like even in a game like Street Fighter 4 or an anime fighter is typically extremely particular about execution.
Yeah.
Games like that, at the highest level of play, they're still just that mind game because everybody is able to execute. So that no longer becomes a factor. So you put in all these 10,000s of hours in order to perfect execution, only for it to not be a factor in the outcome of the match.
Exactly. That's the biggest argument anyone ever gave me for Rising Thunder. Was exactly what you just said, and I think it's a huge move, and I think it's something that we should see a lot of fighting games move towards. Just get rid of that huge barrier to entry.
I just had an epiphany. Like that's the exact reason I don't like Dota.
Oh yeah.
Like because all the stupid shit you have to do in Dota to make it like any other like freaking Heroes of the Storm. Like if everybody's worrying about last hitting and denying, like that's just an extra stupid frivolous thing as opposed to just playing the game and working with teamwork and getting against. That's the reason I don't like Dota.
God! I'm gonna stop you before Dakota gets on a tangent.
He just gave me a fucking epiphany. There's a really easy parallel to draw between Rising Thunder and Heroes of the Storm because both of them have shed basically all of the execution mechanics in favor of distilling the experience down to kind of the mental game or the strategy of the genre. So in a MOBA, it's all about what fights you're picking and where are you on the map, and in the same way as
positioning and what
positioning. Exactly. And that's exactly what Lewis said about Rising Thunder, is that Rising Thunder teaches you about spacing and when you should be pressing a button and when you shouldn't not. Can you press the button the proper way? And I know at least for Heroes, there's a lot of backlash. People saying, well, that's important. We should be judging the skills of a MOBA player on their ability to, for instance, last hit. Lewis, do you think that the same could be said with Rising Thunder? Should we judge a fighting game player's abilities based on his execution?
Absolutely not. I don't care how many times Daigo can hit a one-frame link. That's not why he wins.
Right.
Daigo wins because he knows what he wants to do. He wants to get in there. He's gonna play a safe game. He's just gonna play the fundamentals. And when he sees an opening, maybe I'll go for it. So Rising Thunder, I think, is doing it very right, teaching you how to like flip that switch and get into that mentality of trying to figure out your opponent.
Yeah.
Whereas overcomplicating it is just doing it just to do it.
Right.
Yeah, totally. I
And
agree.
something that hasn't been said yet is that Rising Thunder is also a game where robots fight other robots, and that's really important to state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was
That's a
something
huge point for the game. Is
I'm glad
robots
you hit
fighting
on
other
that, Mitch.
robots.
That was the point I really wanted to bring up
Yeah.
there, but
Like
is very
robots fighting robots is just something that anyone
looks
can get
great.
behind.
Yeah, the game looks great. It's got a real good tactical feel to it. The sound design, actually, like Street Fighter V, when you hit moves and when moves are blocked, they've got a nice crunchy feel to them that gives
Yes, they
the
do.
game a kind of a weight to it. And something else that I just dawned on me about Rising Thunder is it actually kind of moves away though from that fighting game community aspect, where that game is meant to be played online. It doesn't have local multiplayer, and there are some characters in the game who rely on your opponent not looking at your screen. There's a character that goes invisible. So you can't play side by side looking at the same television screen.
Well, two things. One, another big draw to it is it's free, totally free.
Yeah.
And
That's
second,
a huge deal.
with the sitting side by side, one of the big pushes seems to be sitting across from one another on your own screens,
Yeah.
because a big thing that a lot of people seem to experience is when I'm sitting here, I just give you a quick little peek, see if you hit a button, then punish you. Or you can hear your opponent hitting a button, and so you get into the old Alex Valle mentality of you maybe disabling one of your buttons and then just slamming it, making your opponent think you hit something, and then punishing them for listening to your fight stick.
That's awesome. The
People
fighting
actually
game
do
community's
that?
got.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Dude.
when I was learning Anime Fighters, I guess one button just doesn't do anything, and I heard someone press it, and I went for something, and he went, "Ha, gotcha," and I was just like, "Oh, all right, you got me."
Oh my god.
Wow, that's amazing. The fighting game community, man, they're an eclectic bunch. One of my favorite things about the FGC is those fucking kids love their jargon, man. They've got words for goddamn everything. And you know what's really weird is a lot of the gaming culture jargon that's been going around now. You tell me, Lewis, if you think this is true. I always found those words to start in the fighting game community. The word salty is being tossed around everywhere now. That shit was a fighting game word.
Oh yeah,
Years ago.
absolutely.
was
When you beat
100%.
your opponent so badly, and he's just getting angry, and you can see it. Your boys, everyone would be telling him he's salty. Someone brings a salt shaker, shows it to him,
Yep.
and then now you see it everywhere.
It's
And
everywhere.
Yeah.
Hype as well. Hype is a very traditional fighting game word. There's a great picture of I can't remember the Team Spooky guy where he's like eating my lunch for the day, hype as fuck, and it's like his face, and it's just a regular ass picture of this dude looking at a camera, and he's got the most boring look on his face, but they use the fucking word hype for everything, even eating lunch. Like it doesn't have any meaning anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do a fun thing with you guys. Lewis, you're gonna know these, so we're gonna go to you last. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw some fighting game words at Mitch and Chris. They're gonna take their best stab at what they might mean.
I'm out.
I know
so-
a little bit about fighting games, so hopefully I have a
Yeah,
better...
and these are actually particular to the game, not the community. So we'll go Chris first because I think he won't know as many. I hope you're not offended, Christopher. Your first word, Chris. What are footsies?
I know what footsies are! Damn it!
I mean, I want to say a nice little game that the two fighters do while they're getting ready and picking their characters.
Right, because as Lewis said,
But,
they sit across from each other.
Yeah.
It's the
They
toes.
sit next to each other, so it might just be a footsie. But
No.
I maybe it's like when a character's like kind of going back and forth, trying to like do a little dance, like moving in like they're gonna attack, but then coming out. So do like a back and forth real quick to maybe even like get their dash ready too before they
Okay,
go
so
in.
what do you think, Mitch? I won't tell you guys you're right until we hear everybody's.
I know what footsies are. Footsies are basically when two characters are trying to get a basic attack in. They're going back and forth, trying to get one in to see if the other person is blocking, and then if they are, they can potentially combo off of that based on what type of move they did during their footsies. But usually it's like a low kick or just like a regular like attack. It's not really anything basic. You just like you like move in and then back out and then move in and do an attack and then back out real quick. Something that has a low frame punishment as well, so that you're not punished if you miss.
Okay, Judge Lewis, what do you say?
I think it's the battle for the neutral game. So when you both start out, you guys are the same distance apart. So you're going to see people, like Chris said, moving back and forth. And like Mitch said, you're going to throw out some normals. You're going to throw out your plus on frame normal. So even if your opponent blocks, he can't punish you. And you're just trying to dominate that neutral game and move them to where you want them. And from there, you can open them up and everything like that.
Okay, so survey says you guys were both right. You guys have the right.
Chris, high five.
Yeah.
Can we do this?
High five.
Can we make it happen?
Is this the right way?
That's perfect. That's perfect. You got it.
It's a totally visual gag. All right, so second word. I've only got 3 for you. Second word, Chris. What is a meaty?
A meaty.
A meaty. M-E-A-T-Y.
I mean, for me, if I were to say a meaty, that'd be like if you hit him with like the full combo that you want to hit.
Okay.
Like that was a meaty right there. Like, I mean, that's not right at all, but that's what I wanted.
Hey, you never know. You won't know until Lewis tells you.
Chris,
Mitch,
if that's not a meaty, I think we should vote to change that to a meaty.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
that
a meaty
sounds
right
awesome,
there.
Man.
All
Like,
right,
dude,
so
you
Mitch-
just fucking meaty the shit out of that guy.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
what I'm talking about.
I don't know the exact terminology of it, but it's basically where you throw out like a hit that has enough frames that it connects even if something else happens. Like it's gonna happen no matter what is kind of what I remember
Okay.
a meaty being.
That's a really good bad definition of meaty. So you're on the right track.
Oh, good job, Mitch. Nice
Lewis,
work.
tell him what a meaty is.
The meaty is when you hit someone on the latest frame of their getup.
So what you were saying, Mitch, is pretty right. It's when you knock somebody down and their character is rising, you're timing your attack so that it's hitting at the last possible moment for your attack and the first possible moment that they are able to be hit. So you're right. It has something
so no
to do
matter
with
what
time.
happens, okay, it's on.
So
Get
then
Up.
no
I forgot
matter
about
what
that,
is,
yeah.
no matter what, they're going to get hit by the attack. That's
So
it.
like what I said, a really juicy hit.
Chris, survey says we were both right again.
Yeah,
High five.
both right again.
All right. So your last fighting game term, a Kara attack or a Kara attack.
That happened in Burning Crusade, and it was.
Oh yes, Karazhan. Yes, and they had the 3 different bosses. And
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
get,
yeah.
and I never got the one that I wanted that dropped the one trinket that
Everybody
I needed.
just ran into a Kara attack. That's I don't know if you've been playing too long, and then your girlfriend Kara comes in and
Boom! The
game.
punch right in the back of the head. Get off video games, chump.
that's all I
Mitch?
got.
Oh,
Kara attack,
I
Mitch?
actually have never heard this one, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say when you don't Kara anymore, and you just throw your fight stick on the ground.
Excellent, Lewis. What the fuck is a Kara attack?
So the Kara is when you throw out a normal, and it's an empty normal, and then you cancel it into a special.
And so,
Uh,
yeah,
What
you
is
go.
an empty
So-
normal?
Yeah, tell
So
me.
okay, so I'll tell you. With Ken in Street Fighter 4, he was famous for his Kara throw. So he would do the step kick, which is his medium kick. He just puts his foot out, and then he would cancel it into a throw, and it would move his hitbox further, and he would throw you from what normally wouldn't be his throw range. Sagat had one where he would throw out a light kick, and then he would do an uppercut, and it would shoot him across the screen and go a lot more horizontal than he ever would.
Yeah. So what the idea is you do an attack, but then you do a different attack. So the first attack you did doesn't even come out. You only do it so that
To
You get the
like
range
modify
of
the
other-
next
You
attack.
get the
Exactly,
range of the first attack, but
Right.
the effect of the other attack.
right. And the reason Lewis called them an empty attack is Kara comes from the Japanese root, which means empty. It's the same root word found in the sacred Japanese traditions of karate, empty hand, and karaoke, empty orchestra.
Oh,
So, Chris-
there's a lot of
we're learning a lot of shit here.
If you don't care about your normal attack, you're gonna cancel
God,
it
no, we're
into a
done.
throw.
Keep going, Dakota. Next thing.
I wanted to end on Kara because it just led me into the fact that the fighting game community uses a lot of Japanese, actually. Kara being one of them. Okizime or Oki, which means that's actually a portmanteau, a combination of 2 Japanese words that I think mean like wake up attack or pressure attack. Oki is the word that you use for the mind games that occur when somebody is getting up, all your wake up options. What's my Oki on this opponent? How am I going to approach them as they're getting up? Am I going to walk up throw? Am I going to jump in? Stuff like that. And then the last one I wanted to mention was Yomi. And we talked about Rising Thunder. Lewis, what's Yomi mean?
Oh, you got me.
Oh, I got you.
Okay,
so Yomi is just the Japanese word for like mind games. And so an approach to accessibility like Rising Thunder is putting all the focus on Yomi. Yomi is, can I know what my opponent is going to do and predict their moves so I can punish them before they come out? So that's your fighting game subculture slang lesson for the day.
Sweet.
I feel like I learned a lot. Chris, did you learn a lot?
I learned a lot.
Yeah, I
learned a shit. I
learned a shitload of stuff.
So I think maybe the last question we'll put to you guys, and starting with Lewis, is eSports. As we said, they're getting way popular now. And we talked about how the fighting games have kind of always been around and been like the OG esport. What does it mean for them now that esports scenes are exploding? What do you think that's going to do for Street Fighter, Lewis?
Well, the esports is going to give the game a lot more exposure. With more exposure, bigger tournaments, more money for the players. So your fighting game players can finally do what the StarCraft and the League players are doing and just do this full time and still live comfortably. As far as changing it, it's going to change your big tournaments like EVO, CEO, things like that. But you're always still going to have those grassroots tournaments, those like arcade cabinet feel tournaments where it's not as big, it's not as esports. You'll be sitting in the crowd and someone will start screaming, "Who do you like?" and you'll start side betting. Like, that's never going to go away.
Yeah, it sounds silly, but it's good, right? Because the fighting game scene is so much about culture, right? And it's good to know that like it's not going anywhere. It's only going to be strengthened.
Yeah.
Mitch, what do you think?
No, I agree with you, man. The fighting game community is only getting better with the popularity of streaming. I know that's definitely helped the fighting game community a shitload. I know I've attended tournaments where they were streamed, and the amount of bullshit you see on the stream and the amount of popularity these like very good commentators get. Like, I don't know anything about fighting game community, but I can say one thing. I've watched a lot of streams and a lot of tournaments, and fighting game community has the best fucking commentators I've ever seen in my life. They are the greatest fucking commentators in the world, and anyone that tells you otherwise is just wrong. Like, they get you so, as you guys said before, they get you hyped. They really just like, and they're very good at explaining what's going on, even if I have no fucking idea what's going on. Like, I can jump into a Guilty Gear, which is an anime fighter. I can jump into a Guilty Gear stream, not really know what's going on, and these commentators are going to take me to the next level of hype. It's going to be great. Chris, what are your thoughts on esports for the fighting game community?
Well, the thing is, I've always liked fighters. I've always enjoyed them. I don't watch esports. Like, I understand the appeal, and when I do watch it sometimes, like, I like it. It's just not something that I'm into. But I wish that they would make like fighters. They'd make some fighters that are more like not casual, but they do something for the console people, or the people who only have like a PC at home. Like, I really like to watch fighters. I want to get into them, but I don't want to buy a game where it's just basically like a training against a bot forever until I could find some friends to play.
Sure.
I like games like the old Soul Calibur where you had a storyline into it, something like a
Soul Calibur had some of the best single player content.
It had great single player fighter.
The new Mortal
content.
Kombat game had like primo single player.
The new Mortal
like a
Kombat
movie.
is so fucking good.
I think I maybe played Mortal Kombat 9, and they had like the storyline where you like switch fighters halfway through. I really like that. So in terms of the esports, I think if they want to get more people involved who aren't into hardcore fighters only, maybe they should just add a little more content. Like, I'm holding off on this Street Fighter 5. I was thinking I really like the style, the way it looks, and everything. But what's stopping me is that it's just straight up like, you buy $60, you have a crappy internet connection, like fighter version, and then you don't have any single player at all other than like the training mode. And that's what stops me.
Yeah, they kind of dropped the ball with the single player content with this release in a big way. But they it kind of doesn't matter for the people that want to play the game already. But yeah, it's people like you, they totally missed out on. I just wanted to mention, as far as Soul Calibur goes, I can't remember what the 4 was for, the latest one.
There was actually a weird free-to-play single-player one that stopped a year afterwards, and it was only single-player.
Yeah, I see it here for my shelf. I have 4. That game had like the sweetest costuming systems I've ever fucking seen.
And you were able to make up your own character. Oh yeah, dude.
I made Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins in the full fucking Silver Knight outfit with heart boxers that you could only see when my player was faced away. So sick.
So good.
Oh man,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I guess I'm last. I mean, I agree with you guys as far as fighting games and esports. I'm really happy that there's a new Street Fighter game. I already pay a lot of attention to the genre, and I mean, there's really never been a better time for the FGC, and I'm glad esports has taken off so that the FGC can take the ride with them.
Yeah, esports is definitely benefiting pretty much anybody involved in the gaming community. So the fighting game community not being an exclusion is amazing. It's great. So does anyone have anything else to say about fighting games before we move forward? Lewis.
I do. One quick thing. If you do have an interest in fighting games, I do recommend you going out, finding your local scene, and just showing up to a weekly, a monthly, whatever the gathering is, and just meeting the people and playing. So the fighting game community is some of the most helpful people in the world. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you're an Evo champion or if you're just the new guy. They're going to help you out. Here locally, we have a player, Flash Metroid, big player in Marvel and Street Fighter. Mm-hmm. He was at the weekly, and he was happy to give people tips, help them out with frame data, play some friendlies. So it may look intimidating from the outside, but once you take that step in and talk to everyone, everyone's very friendly and welcoming.
Yep,
yeah, I can definitely vouch for that. Being somebody who's never played a fighting game in my life, when I was trying to learn how to play Guilty Gear and when I was really into Smash 4, anytime I was playing by myself or I was just like trying to practice something, everybody that played that game would come over and be like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, or, oh, what are you trying to do this? And they'd at least come over and talk to me. So it's definitely a really friendly community for damn
One of these weeks, man, I'm going to take the hour and 10-minute drive up and go to Wednesday Night Fights. It's one of the bigger ones. I live pretty damn close to their new arena that they're doing the
eSports arena?
At. Yeah. So
hopefully.
Should be awesome. Should be awesome. All right, guys.
It is.
It's about that time. We've talked a shitload about fighting games, but Lewis, you're going to be our special guest on tonight's Meta Bet.
All right.
All right, Dakota, take us away.
All right, for those that don't know, the Meta Bet is a little game that we play where we bet on the Metacritic score of an upcoming game release. Last week, to remind you guys, Mitch won, and Mitch didn't only win, but he got the number exactly right. And when that happens, he gets to assign each Chris and I some sort of video game stipulation. Usually the winner assigns the loser, but in this case, we were both losers. So Mitch had us have a Hearthstone arena off. Who could go the furthest in the Hearthstone arena given the week? I got to fucking say, man, it was not a good showing for me. Chris, what do you have to say about it?
Chris texted me halfway through, and he's like, dude, man, this is not good.
It's not good.
It wasn't good. I don't have my tablet's in the other room. I'm not gonna go get it, but I have visual confirmation. My best showing I had.
Before you tell your best, just to recap, I basically told both of these gentlemen that they had to do arenas as much as they could this week, and the highest arena run. So you can in Hearthstone you can do an arena run, and the maximum number of wins you can get is 12. However, if you lose 3 times, you have to automatically retire your deck and start again. So I told these gentlemen, you got to go as far as you can. Highest number wins. So, Chris, what did you get?
It was even worse because I've been saving up gold for such a long time. Like, I don't know what the next thing is.
I feel bad.
Like, I don't know. Nobody knows when the next card expansion's going to be out. But I was, like, getting ready for it. So I'm going to have, like, 20,000 gold. I'm just going to buy all the packs and be ready. And so I was at 1,600, and I'm at 900 now.
Woo. Yes.
And the best I got was 7 wins, and I got it like
that's
3 times
good.
though.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. That's above average, I think. So my best arena run, I've got my visual confirmation right here. My best arena run was ye old 5.
Oh my god, I thought I'd get blown away, man.
No, it was like some of the worst I've ever done, man. I only got 3 decks out. One of the decks I had already began and already had a loss, and it was some shit-tastic deck. I think I rage quit playing it because it was bad. And then I opened up my game. I'm like, oh, I already have a deck. Ooh, this is fucking terrible.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah. Ooh. So, yeah. 5. I lose. What does that mean,
All right,
Mitch?
this is perfect. So I was going to create the same punishment for both of you, but I really just like, I had one in mind for Dakota. I had one in mind. So I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I have one for each of you. So Chris, you saved yourself. Dakota, your punishment. Yeah, your punishment, Dakota, is you have to play Diablo with us, and you have to get a character to level 70.
Okay.
You have to
this
get
one.
a seasonal character level
good.
70 with us.
That's a good
And that's really
punishment.
not that hard because honestly, it really takes like 3 hours in a couple of Nephilim rips with us. But
Yeah,
you
we
have to spend some time with us playing some goddamn Diablo.
And you just moved your work schedule around so we have more time to play.
We have
For those
tons
that
of
don't
time to play
know,
now.
we live on opposite ends of the country, so it's very difficult for me to play with these guys. They're over on the East Coast, so that's good. I like it. So let's talk about the results from last week's bet. If you don't remember last week, we bet on Far Cry Primal for the PlayStation 4. Our scores from top to bottom were myself, Dakota at 86, and then Mitch and Chris with the same exact number, 83.
God
Again,
damn you,
something that I
Chris.
don't think has ever happened before,
No,
right?
it's
We've
not.
got 2 weeks in a row. So today, on the day of release, based on 58 critic scores, Far Cry Primal has a Metacritic score of 76.
Yes!
Yeah,
Making
double
me-
winner.
Making me the double loser, triple loser if we count
You're
the hard.
the triple loser. This
I'm the
week,
triple
man.
loser. Oh
Dakota,
no!
you suck this week. You're the absolute worst this week.
I have not had a worse metabet showing. I was kicking ass for
God.
weeks on end. Weeks. This is.
Oh
this is,
my god. Lewis, this is unprecedented.
I have
Can
a
you
question.
help us
Is
out,
the-
please?
You're witnessing
Is the-
history here.
Is the meta bet how you guys ended up playing Rocket League backwards?
That is right.
That is
Yes.
exactly
Okay.
so. We
Okay.
I think what ended up happening was we bet on a game that week that didn't have enough scores.
Yeah.
So
To
we
be
didn't have
reviewed.
a
We
meta
all
bet. So we were
lost.
like, well, we all lost. We fucked up.
Yeah. So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I'm a double
I
loser.
don't even know because you're triple
Man, I wasn't
loser right
prepared
now.
for this kind of pressure, man.
I was
thought
not
we were gonna
prepared
both
for
lose
you to
one
have
game.
this many fucking losses on your record right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Holy
so Lewis, I think as our honorary guest, what do you think? You get the first go because we got a lot of
Got a lot of
punishment.
brainstorming to do.
Oh my
right.
god.
So video game stipulations of any kind you can think of. I'm playing Street Fighter. I'm playing Hearthstone. I'm playing Heroes.
Lewis,
Let Lewis
you
hit
need to
Street
hit
Fighter.
Street Fighter. You need to
Do
hit Street Fighter,
you play,
Lewis.
you play Street Fighter on a stick or on a pad?
Oh fuck.
I like where this is going.
Oh god. I play Street Fighter on the
Oh,
old
perfect.
stick.
You're gonna be playing one-handed.
Oh
Oh!
my goodness.
Oh,
How
Have
do you
you
even
seen-
do that?
So Lewis, you've seen Long Island Joe play one-handed, right?
I have. He's the reason
Yeah.
I placed a got.
Oh man, we're gonna have to show these guys after the air some Long Island one-handed. The guy is fucking good with one hand. All right, so
like you're
I'm
gonna
not
be
gonna
after
play
week
one-handed
two.
the whole week. There's no
Yeah.
way I'm forfeiting a week of Street Fighter, but I will play a lot one-handed.
Okay.
Maybe try to make some video content.
Play until it cramps.
Yeah, I'll play until I can't close my handed.
This is amazing. So hold on. So this is hilarious because that's just one of the challenges that you have this week, Dakota. That's just one.
Okay.
So we got one more. Chris, let's brainstorm here. What else are you gonna be playing, Dakota? You're playing Street Fighter. You have to play Diablo with us. Should
Gotta
we
play
hit
Diablo
Diablo,
with
Chris? Should we?
No,
Should we?
no, we want him to enjoy that.
Okay, yeah, because I want to have a good time. I don't want to like babysit his ass.
A suggestion in chat is you should make him tuck his wiener behind him and walk around like a lady.
Jorg, while that is
Oh,
an
that's
amazing MetaBet challenge
Like that.
that has nothing to do with gaming, however, if some
Creativity
sort of virtual reality penis
should be
game
acknowledged.
comes out,
Wait.
we will institute.
I
that.
liked the other time somebody brought up in chat what we should duct tape his bead down, his handbrake down when we play Rocket League so he
Oh.
slides around everywhere.
Oh yeah, ice skating Rocket League. So always
Yeah.
slide Rocket League. Okay.
So every
Yep.
you have 3 different game challenges, so you're not escaping it this
So
week.
I
Yeah.
got to play Diablo. I got to write down. I have to take notes. I have to play Diablo 3. I have to ice
You
skate.
have to play
in
Diablo
Rocket
3,
League.
and you have to get a character to 70.
Yep. And
That
I've
is
got
the
to
punishment.
play one-handed. Oh my God, Street Fighter.
I hope you don't play a grappler.
Uh,
Well,
I do.
if he was
do.
playing a grappler, he is not anymore. He is learning a new character.
Do it, man. You got that. It's only half circles because I'm playing Mika. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Wow.
fair enough.
All
fair
right.
enough.
So
Well,
this week,
yeah, what are we betting on?
onto our new bet, and of course, Luce is going to bet with us. He won't be here next week, but we'll get to check a score out nonetheless. We're going to bet on this game called The Flame in the Flood. Have you guys heard of this game?
I have not heard of this game.
It's kind of like they're saying it's a roguelike, so I think it's what people might want to say is a roguelite, meaning new game every time, but there might be some light progression elements. It's got this really sweet art style, and it looks almost like there's a lot of water involved, kind of like Wind Waker style. Yeah.
Oh my
I'm
god,
really
this
curious.
game looks incredible.
It looks very
Holy
gorgeous.
shit, this game
We'll
looks
have
so
to be
good.
on the ball next time so you can flash some videos.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, guys! If you haven't ever seen this game, just Google the Flame in
The
the Flood
Flame
and
in
look
the
at the
Flood.
look at the
The
video.
art?
This game is
The art's
beautiful.
very, very nice.
The
So
art
there,
style
this
is
game.
incredible.
This game actually doesn't come out on PlayStation. And we always default to PlayStation.
What?
So yeah, we're gonna go Xbox One instead of Windows just because
I'm
sometimes-
declining my vote. I'm declining my vote. I don't want.
sometimes PCs have like port issues that affect the
Yeah,
rates
yeah.
in weird ways. So we'll go Xbox One, The Flame in the Flood. I've got my number written down.
Hold on,
Uh,
really quickly. This game is not coming out on PlayStation 4, so I can't play this game.
It's on
No.
PC though.
Yeah, it's on Windows.
It's on PC?
I'd imagine it comes out on Steam. Yeah.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
God. I was like, thank God, I can't play this game. This game actually looks amazing. all right. Hold on. Okay.
So write down your numbers. So Chris, are you not able to write down in chat? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I'm not able. I'm having a problem with my Twitch.
Okay,
right
so
now,
we'll just do it old school style. Write them down privately, and then we will go.
No,
one
you
by-
guys could write it down. And I'll hold it up to the screen, and then I'll just say it afterwards.
Oh, do you want me to write this down into Twitch chat?
Yeah, are you in the
Yes.
Twitch? Don't hit return. Just get ready to type it in.
Are you in the
Is it
Twitch
that?
chat, Lewis?
I will be in a second. What is it? Twitch.tv/analogstick
That's
I
right.
know it's really hard to remember, but it's really it's complicated. But
It is.
Twitch.tv/analogstick.radio. Shameless plug, but
Yeah.
you know,
Plug-
one more
plug
time
the
in case
show
you
you're
didn't get it,
listening to.
Lewis. Twitch.tv/analogstick.radio. Just in case you didn't get it.
All right, so I've got my number typed out. Mitch, you ready?
I am ready.
Got mine on a post-it.
Lewis, you ready?
Yep.
All right, on the count of 3, we're gonna hit return, and Chris is gonna show us
Can you
post-it.
just, can you
One,
just call it enter? Come on, god damn it.
enter. 1, 2, 3, return.
Oh my god, I'm low.
Oh yeah, you are, and I can't see the
Chris,
the video.
yeah, I can't see
Chris,
you.
I'm
Yes,
at
Chris.
87.
87. Okay, so you
Oh
and I
my
are
God.
tied at 87.
Did mine not go through?
Yours did go through.
No, yours went through.
We've got so top to bottom. We've got Lewis at top, 88. Chris and I with 87, and Mitch the lowest at 80. So
God.
Lewis can't win, right? He's just having fun typing the numbers. So again, we have
No. Hold on, real quickly though. If Lewis does win, if it comes out with an 88, I will stop what I'm doing. Lewis, have your phone on you next Tuesday. I will stop what I'm
We're gonna
doing. I'll give your
phone a friend
motherfucking ass.
for this-
I will
for the next
phone a
meta bet?
friend. I'll be like, Lewis, you won the meta bet. Get ready because you get to punish everyone.
Yeah, that would be all 3, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, those are our numbers. So we will see what happens.
Oh my god, this art style looks so good. I thought you guys were gonna be a lot lower because all the scores have been low, but y'all went super high with your boners. God
I
damn.
looked at it for 1 second, and it's a roguelike, and it's got a fun
Art
you
style,
guys have
yeah.
bonus-
art style.
you
It's
guys
got
have
a
bonus
and it's
for
got
roguelikes.
looks like it's got a dog in it. That automatically adds like 5
And
points
I'm
right
playing.
there.
I'm playing the targeted audience. That like indie
Ah.
style art. Oh,
Yeah.
they're gonna love it.
I mean,
Eat it
the art
up.
looks incredible. The art does look incredible. Definitely, if you haven't checked it out, look it up.
It's kind of like Bastion almost.
It really looks amazing. It really looks amazing. Well, as always, Analog Stick Radio is brought to you by BitCultures. BitCultures is a site that features video game reviews, opinion pieces, digital media, including this very show right here. Now, if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, check everything out that they have to offer, www.bitcultures.com. If you want to reach us, Analog Stick Rad Guys, you can email us at analogstickradio@gmail.com or tweet us at ASR Podcast. These are very difficult to remember, so make sure you wrote them down. Analog Stick
make a
Radio, what's that?
Oh, may I make a shameless plug real quick?
You are more
absolutely.
than welcome
Yeah,
to
of
make a
course.
shameless
Building-
plug, my friend.
Building on that Bit Cultures, if you guys are interested in more fighting game news, fighting game articles, Bit Cultures, we are coming out with Button Check. It's going to be articles,
Yes.
videos, everything related to the fighting game. We'll have tournament reports. Me and the Smash guys will be traveling Florida. We'll be going. We'll be at Evo. A few other major events, and we'll be writing about them, things like that. So if you are interested and you want to check it out, follow us on Twitter at Button Check. And then just stay tuned on the site for when the articles start going up.
Sweet.
I actually got to
Awesome.
see a sneak peek of some of the first video that you guys are putting out, and it looks absolutely incredible. I'm a huge fan of 8-Bit Man, so I'm pretty excited to see this video for sure. Well, Analog Stick Radio records every Tuesday night right here, twitch.tv/Analog Stick Radio. I don't know if I said that before, but just in case. And we record every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. And we're published on iTunes the following Thursday, and as well as all of your favorite podcast trackers. So make sure that you either subscribe to us on iTunes, leave a sweet comment, or subscribe to us on whatever your favorite podcast tracker is. And make sure you just comment, say something nice. Say Mitch looked really cute, or like Dakota's hair looks like shit. Whatever you want to say, I don't care.
Just pick one.
Just pick one and say something. I don't really care. Honestly, any characters in the text box is great with me. Guys, any final words before we move on to the video game portion of the segment where we shut the stream off and we go play video games?
I found my Mortal Kombat guides. I told you they were right next to me. Look at this one. Mortal Kombat Complete.
Oh my god, with a K.
Oh my god.
With a K, dude.
Excellent.
I don't want to rip it, but it's got like strategies for all the characters, bro.
Why are those Molina
dude.
pages stuck together?
The people watching know you're not a filthy liar.
The people listening are... Dakota has like a very truthful voice. The people listening firmly believe him.
You know.
Lewis, thank you very much for joining us and giving us your insight in the fighting game community. We all don't have that much information or knowledge on it, so we definitely appreciate you
dumb.
being here. Is there any parting words you would like to leave us with before we let you go?
No, I got nothing.
Right
We got
on.
absolutely nothing. Well, we got nothing here. So for myself, Mitch, Dakota, and Lewis, special guest, this has been Analog Stick Radio. We will see you next week.
See ya.
Long.